From under the bridge to around the town, this is the Prattle Proos. So get your ears close to your speakers and button up those britches for a good time.
Prattle Proos.
Prattle Proos.
We've had quite an interesting go over the last few months. We have had, we started in October, right? Was it October we started our podcast?
September we started setting up. No, it was earlier than that, actually. If you go back, it was...
When was our first one?
Our first one, because I had set up this room when you guys were with Maddie down in Texas. Up in Colorado.
But when was our first recording?
I think it was September, actually.
Was it? Okay, so September to now. So it was quite a while. So we've done quite a few. We've taken a break. We've rethought a lot of things. We've listened to feedback from people. Yes, this is me and Jason's show. This is our way to portray our personality and a way to put a smile on people's faces. We did get some really good feedback from some listeners. They wanted to know more about us. Who are we? Where do we come from? How we met? What's our background? And so we're going to make this episode all about that. So me and Jason, we have not known each other our whole life, so this is going to be a really fun story. The other thing we're talking about that we decided that we would throw in here as well is, what is our favorite comedy growing up? This is a comedy podcast. Sometimes it's serious, but what was our favorite comedy growing up? I'll bet a lot of the generation kids today won't understand some of the stuff we watched.
No.
I won't spoil it by telling you what my favorite was, but and then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about styles of comedy that we like. We're going to talk about what makes us jive as friends and cousins and all that stuff. And then, if time permits, shall we talk about SpaceX?
Yes, SpaceX, the trip to Mars.
Yeah, it's
going to become a regular at the end of our shows.
There's some information I do want to share with that, health information that I was studying on. It'll be interesting. We'll talk about that here today.
Foreshadow.
All right. Jason, Sarah.
Hello.
Remember, Sarah's our new host. She's joining us. She joined us for the first time last episode. She will be on with us regularly. Jason, how do we want to start this? When we first met?
We were cousins. We are cousins.
That was more of a question of how to...
And I think, didn't we meet the first time when you came up to Montana once? Or was it when I came down to Utah for the...
Let's give the background of...
Did you ever go to any of those summer family reunions?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's too bad. Those were fun.
We weren't allowed to. So... Jason grew up in the foothills of Missoula, which was...
Montana.
Okay, correct, but what was the city?
Corvallis, about 40 miles south of Missoula, yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
In the Bitterroot Valley, it was gorgeous, yeah.
Gorgeous. If you could ever go on a vacation, go there. Don't expect to have a fancy... luxurious vacation. Is just being out there with nature.
Yeah, that, and you can drive up about 3 hours north and be in Glacier. So yeah, it's just beautiful. That whole western side of Montana into Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, just beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys have been to Coeur d'Alene, right?
Yes.
We have. One of my favorite vacations.
That was the best vacation.
Yeah.
The girls actually hail it as their favorite vacation ever, and they want to go back. Which we could talk about that too. Me and Jason didn't know each other our entire lives. So Jason mentions, yes, we did go up once in a while.
Well, I knew of you, but I didn't get a chance to get to know you.
I saw pictures of you with your military, your Air Force uniform on.
Yeah.
And that no grin that you always had when you take your Air Force pictures.
Well, I don't like smiling at pictures.
Straight face.
Did you ever, when you were taking those pictures, and they say, just look serious, and you're like...
Yeah, that's the noise I make every time a picture's taken.
I kind of figure.
Yeah.
Why do you sound like a cat?
Not a...
Purring.
I thought that was like a puma.
No, it was a cat.
Oh, I sound like a puma. A lot.
It was the noise I made, so that's the animal. I pictured it. This is a cat.
I pictured a puma.
I pictured a shoe, too. Shoes make that noise. Especially on the basketball court.
When I would play.
Oh, wait, did you mean like the animal puma?
Yeah, both.
I was way off. Okay, so...
Let's put pumas on a puma.
And our train derailed again. Was that the train derailment sound?
That was the puma playing basketball and the pumas.
It sounded like the train derailed. All right, so Jason, we had an opportunity where me and Sarah and the girls moved from Colorado down to Arizona for reasons that we'll get into maybe in another podcast. But at that point, I had pulled the family down in our fifth wheel. Well, they were in the truck, but we pulled down to Pine Top. We stopped at my mom's house, and your mom was there. And she took a tour of the fifth wheel. At that point, I still didn't know you. I didn't really know Candace. Candace was at the house in Corvallis quite a few times, though. And I remember she would go up in the treehouse with us. I was, 6, 7? Is how old I was.
Yeah, because I left for Okinawa. So she got, the second time that you guys came, when you and Heather were hanging out there, she was still there. I wasn't there. I was in Okinawa.
Okay, Heather's my sister. She's 4 years older than me. So anyway, so as we moved down here to Arizona, Jason was you were in Louisiana, right? At that time.
No, first time I was in Ohio, at the University of Ohio, doing ROTC, and I came out here, and then we hung out a couple times there, and I met Sarah, went to a movie.
We did? You came out here and visited?
Yeah. I came out here for the summer, and then I left for LSU at the end of the summer.
Which summer was this?
Summer of 2022.
Did I get invited?
Yeah, because remember you made the joke when I came back from LSU that I didn't actually... It took me like 2 months to call you. You were like, what are you doing? 2 months, no call? Because we had... That summer before, we had done some stuff together. But not a whole lot, but...
We did? Why
enough.
do I not remember this?
Yeah, summer of 2022. We played some games. We played some Twister.
Oh, that's right, Twister. You had me at Twister. Okay.
Well, you came over for Christmas. We played the game. And
you didn't move? You didn't live here yet?
No, I came to visit. I didn't live here yet, but I was at the second time I was at LSU.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you were an instructor at LSU.
Yeah.
That's Louisiana State, right off the Mississippi River, for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
And
That is good geography.
thank you. And Mississippi River is huge.
It is. Gigantic.
And I forgot what I was just going to say.
Baton Rouge.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to say
so,
Archie Manning.
Whole different world out there.
so it's kind of funny, though.
It's a
I
whole new
remember
world.
That's right.
when Jason was here visiting, I remember for the first time seeing him and meeting him, he walked out of the garage, and my aunt was with him. You've all heard her. She's the one that hung up on me last week when we called her.
Yeah.
She used my joke against me. That was her.
Yeah, she did.
So Jason comes out, and that's where it was kind of like we were old friends right out of the gate.
Yeah.
We gave each other a hug, and then we just talked like we've known each other for decades.
The humor was very, very similar. It's like we were probably Chuck married in, but we're probably the goofiest people in the family.
We probably are.
On this side. Yeah.
We probably are. And then, Sarah, when did you meet Jason?
Camille and I had planned to go to a movie, and Jason must have been in town. I don't think you lived here yet. And you and Candace just ended up coming along. And I remember you were kind of joking around about the movie, and I didn't really know you or your sense of humor yet. And I was like, kind of thrown off. Like, is this guy serious?
What movie was it?
It was Where the Crawdads Sing, the book that I had just finished reading. It's not a Jason movie at all.
No, it's not.
No. So I was kind of surprised that you even came to that movie.
And I was making stupid.
You were making comments about it the whole time, and I'm just like, what is he saying?
And I think I
kind of just ignored you. That I don't think I really like fed into your sarcasm yet.
No, well,
not that night.
No, a little bit with the joking, but we more talked about being former point guards.
Did we?
Yeah,
I don't
and
remember.
because we talked about being former point guards in high school and what it was like to be a point guard.
And when I first met Jason, his hair was really long, and I was like, "Whoa, his hair is long."
Did you get a cut? It looks the same length to me.
No, it was even longer than this.
Yeah, and I cut the beard because I had the beard too for a while.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was ugly beard. It didn't grow in right.
Did you shave it because I tugged on it when I first met you?
Yes.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, I did.
That's
exactly why. You even use that Australian accent.
I'm shaving this off. This is no longer on my face. That's what you said.
But then I didn't see you again for like a year, I think. It was a while after, and you and Camille came to one of Maddie's games. And it was after you had moved back here.
We still weren't close.
No, not
That's why
until
we didn't
after
really...
that family dinner where we played games.
Well,
with
we started coming that summer.
Yeah, you
towards the
started
end of that
more
summer.
Games.
Towards the end of the summer to the club.
The club games.
The club games, and then we were kind of sitting and watching all the club games, and that's when your humor really started coming because you really picked on Mom. And that was hilarious. Just any random thing. Like, she had this little pocket on her chair, and you're like, "Hey, put your hand in here." And she's like,
"Oh, for the drink holder."
It wasn't even a drink holder. It was just like this little thing here, and you were like, kept putting your hand in her, going, "Put your hand in here." And she's like, "No, no, is this some kind of joke?"
2 minutes with the lady.
Yeah, right away. And I was like, "Oh, I love this."
And then we podcast started because eventually then Jason and Camille started going to every one of her games. They never missed a thing. Very strong supporters. And then we went to California in 2024. They came with us to California for a tournament called Zoom Into June. And at that tournament, we were on our way back, and the whole time it was just ridiculous humor.
Yeah.
Ridiculous humor. And then I made a comment as we were going through Palm Springs, because we were just laughing the whole way. We were actually playing a card game, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Dumb things you say to your friends or something like that. It was called.
I had the car in full self-drive, so it was driving, and we're all playing cards.
Yeah.
And at that point, we said something dumb, and I said, we should start a podcast. People have got to hear our humor. And then you went crazy and bought all the mics and got everything set up, and here we are.
Yeah, because I've been waiting. I tried multiple podcasts, and no one was willing to go the extra step. They would start it, and then they'd realize that they would just freeze in front of the microphone, most of them, and wouldn't know what to do. Except for Justin did pretty well, but he wanted to watch Ohio State games. So,
well, we can watch games. Would you rather watch a game on the podcast?
No. That's a different story.
That's a different story.
That's what Justin and I were doing. That's what Justin and I were doing. We were doing Ohio State games, and we were like Eli and Peyton. But the like all my other friends would kind of freeze and stuff. So this was an opportunity, and I said I'm taking it. So when you guys left for
one of our other
Colorado.
For Colorado, I snuck in here and finished this whole sucker except for that part.
The window is what he's pointing at.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the studio, the office. So what he did was he put soundproofing pads, not pads, but
foam.
Yeah.
Foam on the door, on the walls, everywhere. So when you step in this room, you can't hear anything.
It muffles the noise pretty well.
Yeah.
It doesn't muffle everything out, but it does do a pretty good job. And it, especially once we put that up, because once you get the window covered, yeah, it did a terrific job of muffling the sound down. So, but that was, you had come back, but we had set up this table and we started working on this. And I got these 2 tables to kind of extend it out because it just wasn't going to work with that one table that we had where they were going to sit like staring down at us.
Yeah.
The table that he's describing was actually a stand-up table that I use for work, a stand-up desk.
Yeah, and it would have been pretty. Our guests would have been staring down at us, and they just saw the back of their head when we did video.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out.
So, but we got these mics. I got the mics, and we got them set up, and now we're running at 780 miles per hour because we break the sound barrier with our voices.
So speaking of sound barrier with their voices, let's talk about your favorite comedy growing up.
Speaking of
it's
the
a
sound
great
barrier.
segue, Jason. Great segue.
Well, did they break the sound barrier in Rat Race?
Oh, so is that your favorite comedy growing up?
No, that's a story behind.
Let's start with Sarah. Sarah, what's your favorite comedy growing up?
Rat Race.
That's one of them.
No, that's not growing
Rat
up because
Race.
that didn't come out until...
Growing up was Ace Ventura.
Okay, that's
Pet Detective.
92.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
First one or second one? First one.
Both of them, but the first one mostly.
The
I
first
watched multiple.
Why
over
did
and over.
that grab your attention and that was your favorite?
They were just funny, random things. Jim Carrey was funny. Oh, like when he dressed up to go into the mental health facility with the pink tutu on, and he's trying to
And he took his nap.
figure it out.
He's
playing football
He's
out
playing
in
football
the
in the yard, yeah.
bushes.
But there's one scene where he's like, "Tweet, nap time," and he just slams his head
And he's
down
like,
on the table.
"Bonk." Yeah.
I guess I need to watch it.
Yes, I need to watch it. It's so funny. Alrighty.
Wait. All right, so it's your turn as a kid.
No, I'm the lead host. I get to pick who's next.
Okay.
So let's talk about yours.
Yeah,
Jason.
because there's 3 of us. When I was a kid, it's too numerous. Naked Gun, Airplane, anything Saturday Night Live, and then some stand-up guys like Stephen Wright, and then Bobcat Goldthwait, and some other ones. But mostly the Naked Gun guys had me laughing the hardest.
So you like is that slapstick comedy? It's not deadpan comedy.
It's kind of, it's got all of it in it. It's got, because they do very much, they'll do slapstick, they'll do like where, the Norberg falls off into the stadium. They'll do like clever little jokes that are hidden, like, and then they'll do like, situational kind of jokes where they take what's a normal procedure and just make it really outrageous. Like the cops trying to disperse a crowd usually has more than 2 people. And so there's a guy with a megaphone with 2 people in front of him going, "Please disperse." So
just deadpan.
Yeah, so that's the deadpan. And one of my favorite things in there, there's 2. There's 2. One where he goes to the docks and he's like trying to get information. The guy's like, "I ain't gonna tell you anything." He goes, "Well, maybe this will change your mind," and hands him a $20. And he goes, "My mind's still a little bit fuzzy." And he goes, "Maybe this will clear that fuzziness up." And he hands it to him. He goes, "Yeah, I know that guy." Blah blah blah. Tells him everything, and he goes, "Well, what are you gonna do about it anyway, copper?" He's like, "Well, I don't think I should tell you." And the bad guy's like, "Maybe this will change your mind." Yeah. I still don't think I should tell you. Yeah, he ended up $20 down by the end of it. But that's the kind of humor. And then the scene where he's supposed to meet with someone, the guy goes, "I have a message for you," and he shoots the gun while he's yelling the message. And Frank goes, "Hey, don't fire the gun when you're talking. I can't understand you." So those are my favorite kind of comedy things.
Which fits in line with your humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what heavily influenced my humor. That and that Saturday Night Live crew that I watched. That's why all these are
All the mugs. He's holding up a mug.
because they had a huge influence on me with the silliness, kind of Toonsie's Driving Cat. And Conan O'Brien was one of the writers at this time.
So he's holding up a mug. So Jason did a lot of the decorating in our studio, and one of the things that his personality is he wants to make it as real as possible for a podcast. His idol is Conan O'Brien, and so every one of these hosts, they have mugs that they drink water out of. So we have mugs.
Yeah, his guests. Yeah,
Yeah.
They had and so we have Saturday Night Live mugs. So we got Chris Farley down by the river, Sprockets, and for anybody listening who remembers that time, Toonsies' Driving Cat.
So help me out with some comedy, because I don't have a really good memory growing up. I do really, really remember Groundhog Day. I thought that was cute and funny. It wasn't like laugh out loud funny. It was like
I got so annoyed with that movie.
What? Really? Wow.
I think I was just too young to really
I thought it was
get
great
it.
because it got my mind into that
I
sci-fi
actually
thing.
think I fell asleep
Yeah,
in that
probably.
movie.
And then let's
Wow,
see.
Groundhog Day was
That
I
was
thought
a
it
good one.
incredible.
That's not really a comedy. It's just like it was a cool movie, I thought. The Jerk is one of my favorite comedies.
Steve Martin. That's a great movie.
Yes. Yeah, The Jerk. And then
Steve Barton.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Another Steve Barton movie.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Um,
Who else was it? John Candy. Who else? It was Rick Moranis in it too.
yes.
Okay.
And then Three Amigos. That was my favorite comedy of all time. I think.
I
back in
watched
those
that a
days.
lot too.
Have you seen it a plethora of times?
Plethora.
I don't remember like everything, but I do remember watching it
We gotta watch
quite a
it
few
again.
times. I do need to watch it.
We need to
again.
watch it again with the kids.
Yeah.
Because the kids have no clue who Three Amigos are.
Yeah.
That was back when Chevy Chase and Rick Moranis. No. Rick
No,
Moranis
it was Martin Short.
Martin Short. That's
Yeah.
right. And then, let's see. So my humor was not yet into that slapstick comedy. Once we got into Spaceballs came out, I liked Spaceballs. The comedy with that. I didn't like Airplane, though. I didn't like who's the lead character? Jimmy Nix?
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, the guy with the
I was close.
white hair,
That's Singer.
the white-haired guy.
Well, he's not really the lead in Airplane. He's the lead. Robert Hayes is the lead in Airplane. But what they did, they like to pick serious actors because all these guys were serious actors before they did these movies, just because they could play a real serious part while the joke's going on around them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of Leslie Nielsen.
But the slapstick's more like a vaudeville type of, like Three Stooges,
Yeah.
getting poked in the eye kind of thing. So
My favorite comedy, Austin Powers. All three of them. Those are my favorite.
those are hilarious. Mike Myers was a great SNL.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was
Amazing.
a terrific SNL guy.
Yep.
He's got a new series out. You got to check him out. I got to check it out.
Married an Axe Murderer Part 3.
No, it's on Netflix, and it's I just found it the other day, so we're gonna check it out. We all got to check it out.
Yeah, we gotta check that one out. So anyway, that's kind of where my humor is. I can't remember a lot of the 80s, to be honest with you.
Okay, so Austin Powers. What was right off the top of your head? What was your favorite from the first
Get
one?
in my belly.
That's is it the second one?
Baby back.
I want my baby back.
That was funny.
What about the one he's playing cards though?
Which remind me.
Where his number 2 has got the little. He can see that he's got 17 and he can see a force coming up, so he goes, "Hit me," and they're like, "Sir, I suggest you stay," and he goes, "I like to live dangerously," so he turns it over and they're like 21. Wow. And so they turn to Austin Powers and he's got 5 and he goes, "I'll stay." and they all look at him. "I suggest you hit, sir." He's like, "I too like to live dangerously."
They lost.
And the guy turns it over, 20 beats your 5.
It was an ace. That's funny. Yeah, so that's my comedy growing up. I'll have to share some pictures on our Facebook and Instagram page. When I was younger, I think a lot of my humor really started. I was just very naturally weird.
Goofy. That's a
Goofy.
weird. It's goofy.
I just
Yeah.
liked to make people laugh and smile. I always did. Always growing up. One of the things that we did when we grew up is we didn't really have anything to do. There wasn't any places to go. We grew up in Lakeside, Arizona. There's nothing. And if you want to go to the Phoenix area, it's a 3.5, 4-hour drive. So we would never be able to go. And that was before cell phones existed. So for sure we couldn't just go. So what me and my friends would do is we would record movies, our own little movies.
Yeah.
We would make the strangest movies. They just made no sense. Like I drove a Jeep CJ7, and we would take the top off. We would put logging helmets on. We'd put all sorts of different costumes on. One of us put a dress on and put the windshield down, and then we would drive through town with the radio up, bouncing, and then we were dumb.
I remember seeing a clip of that one. That's the only thing I can remember you guys in that.
Yeah, I have a video of that. I haven't shown that to you yet, Jason. But, yeah, we went through the McDonald's drive-through that way. Yeah, we were the classic teenage boys.
But actually, I did the same thing. We had our VHS recorder, but we did SNL skits.
Really?
Yeah, and
So we were the same growing up.
yeah. So we did in my buddy Andy Mackey's house because he had a big barn. So we did everything from like the skits there, all that kind of stuff when I was in high school. So, and we made stupid videos like that. Will
That's awesome.
Will was in them, and you met Will.
Yeah.
Will was in all the skits. He created the first one we did that was original.
He's not good at keeping promises with kids, but Will's great. Don't ever promise ice cream.
Oh, that's right. All right, so now, what about your favorite now? Like, what is your favorite comedy now?
Oh boy.
Yours could still be Austin Powers because it's not like it's.
Yeah, I've kind of got into soft humor. There really hasn't been any really crazy funny stuff like Austin Powers. The thing with I keep going back to it, The Good Place. I really liked that a lot with Ted Danson. I don't know, what's yours?
Well, I started doing research on who influenced my favorite ones. Who influenced Conan? Who influenced?
Oh, you got to research before this podcast.
No, I did this back when I was in college.
Okay.
So I researched who influenced them, and it all went back to Monty Python. So then I started watching Monty Python, and I love Monty Python. Their skits, their movies, everything just was way off the. And then once I go back before that, then you got Buster Keaton, who was hilarious. And I watched one of his movies probably like 3 months ago, and I was like, this is actually a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. It's not just because when you think of him, you think vaudeville and slapstick the whole time. But no, he had some really stupid, goofy stuff in there. So, but yeah, but no, Monty Python is completely. And then, and of course, I got to mention my guy up here, Mitch. Because Mitch you guys had to listen to so much Mitch jokes. Because his one-liners they're clean and they're just so ridiculous, and that's why I love it.
Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah,
For those of you that don't know who it is, look him up.
yeah. Just look him up and you'll get the gist.
Yes, you will. Okay, so the one thing, I don't know if you do this, but like with Austin Powers, I haven't watched it in probably 12 years, 13 years. And I do that on purpose. Because when I watch it again, I'll forget a bunch of stuff. And then it's funny again.
Yeah.
No, I memorize lines, so I watch it over and over.
I don't.
But Monty Python probably doesn't go with a month without watching at least one of the scenes.
I can't even remember the drink I drank yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some things that I just Monty Python Naked Gun. I will watch scenes
So
again. I won't watch the whole movie, but I'll watch scenes.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about Sarah.
Oh.
I said that because you were just yawning.
Yeah, you were going to talk about George.
It's George.
George is a jungle guy.
Georgie Porgy.
Watch out for that tree.
Oh, is that the right George?
I don't know.
Oh. You know, the one thing that's interesting about Jason, for those of you that don't know, Jason was in the military. He was in the Air Force. And he was the one that was in the ground 2 miles.
No. 100 feet.
100 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
And tell us about what you did, Jason, because I think this is very interesting, because people think, oh, people with that kind of crazy sense of humor, oh, what do they do? But Jason actually did something that was
They do a lot of weird
amazing.
things. You're going to laugh at this, everyone listening. I was a nuclear launch officer.
Why are they going to laugh at that?
Because it's hilarious.
Like you?
No.
You did that?
So these are the nuclear warheads on missiles, the huge missiles
Yes.
that are 150 feet in the ground.
Yeah, and if you remember from like watching the videos of people in the 1960s getting under their desk just in case there's a nuclear war, yeah, that wouldn't have helped. But
Yeah.
that was my job to end the world if we needed to.
So tell us about that. Like,
Push the
what
button.
did you do? What did your day look like when you were underground? What was your responsibilities?
Staring at a screen and waiting for something to happen.
Like,
Pretty
was
much.
it a radar screen?
No, it was actual communication with the missile itself. So if something went wrong with it, it would send a error report.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? So it's constantly pinging that.
Yeah, every minute, every 5 seconds or something, it pings each one.
Wow. And so if there was, did you ever have an issue with one?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
What did you have to do? Did
Lots
you
of
panic and
things.
start screaming?
No, did lots of things. I mean, you got to get a team out there to work on it. You got to make sure you got the right guarding, so people are guarding it, that kind of stuff to make sure that it's protected. So pretty much you're the center brain that says, all right, I need this many people to guard it. I need this many people to come out, start working on it, and you guys send your teams out and let us know when you get there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Those guys would come from base.
So did you have to fire a couple? Not fire people, but fire weapons.
They did launches out of Vandenberg where they take one that was on alert and they pull it out of the ground, drive it down to Vandenberg, and do a launch to see, just to make sure everything was working fine. So they'd launch out over the Pacific into the Kwajalein Atoll Islands.
So they pull it out of North Dakota, put it
Or
on a train.
there's 5 different states, so Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota. They pull one out of those and put them on a train and then just do a surprise, not a surprise, but do a test launch.
What happens after they launch it? They take and put a brand new one in your silo?
Yeah, they had the Minuteman 3 on. There's multiple Minuteman 3s. The Minuteman 3 has been around since the 70s.
Huh.
Yeah.
How'd they get their name?
The Minuteman 3?
The Minuteman 3 is the actual missile.
Yeah. That doesn't carry the warhead. The warheads have different names.
Minuteman 3 because it goes up so high and it can get anywhere, right?
No.
Oh,
It's
within a minute.
It's a reference to the Revolutionary War.
Oh, okay. I was way off.
Because those guys were supposed to be ready on alert in a minute. So it's the Minutemen from Massachusetts
Interesting.
when the
Okay.
British landed. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would be responsible. So it was the President of the United States that would call, not you guys, but call the general, right? And say, okay, fire it. Or how did that work? How did you know you'd had to fire it if you had to?
We'd get a message that was basically only the president would have the codes to be able to fire it.
So the president tells you.
The president passes the codes, and then it gets sent to us.
And then you key the code in.
Yeah.
Which is like a password or a passphrase.
Yeah. There's a guy who walks around with the general himself, the case.
Oh, it really is like
with
in
the
the movies.
I don't know if it's exactly like in the movies, but the president has a guy on the team that takes care of the codes.
So it's a briefcase strapped to his hand.
That always makes better situations. I think it would look cool if you walked around with like a handcuff briefcase to yourself.
That's what they have in the movies.
I know we should do that on this podcast, just a whole podcast where we're sitting there with briefcases.
What's in your briefcase? I don't know. It's like a Twix bar.
Jokes.
My
jokes are in here.
Our jokes for the show.
This is our closing joke in this case. And over there in the case that Jason has is our opener.
Well, now we got to hear more from Sarah.
Yes, Sarah. Isn't that interesting, though, about Jason's missile?
Yes,
stuff?
it's very interesting.
Yeah,
Jason,
Sarah.
I have to ask, though. Tell us about the gun.
The gun?
If you didn't turn the key, because there's 2 keys that have to be turned. You have the code, you have to turn a key, and then another person has to turn a key.
That's a myth. That's only in the movies. There was no extra gun down there.
Oh, all right. I'm way off. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. Sarah, tell us about your gun.
I don't have a gun.
The one that you got with Janie.
Janie's got a gun. She
Janie's
does.
got a gun. Do we need to have our Desert Echo come back?
Yeah.
Actually,
we do.
bust into some sabotage.
And she's quiet. She almost did.
She was getting ready.
For those of you who don't know, Sabotage is by Beastie Boys. Look them up.
She was about to bust into it.
Yeah, I was about to.
And it's because Clay was going to sing it. I was going to do the guitar.
Sing some Alice in Chains.
I don't know.
Do you know Alice in Chains?
Off the
She
top
knows
of
the
my
Nutshell
head.
song.
Do you know Nutshell?
Not all of it.
I can play it.
You can?
Yeah,
There's a guitar
I can
right
play that
behind
one.
you.
How does
It's
that
missing
one
a
go
string.
again?
Yeah, missing one of the most important strings for that song. The E minor, the bottom E, the high E.
I don't remember the Alice in Chains song.
You don't. What about
at the moment?
how
Sorry.
about Jerry Cantrell and Lane Staley song?
Oh, Lane Stanley.
No.
They were members of
I know.
Alice in Chains. That was a good one. I just thought of that one.
Yeah. Well, I've thought a lot of stuff too. Have you ever drank rubbing alcohol?
Oh my gosh. Why would you do that?
Well, because if you're not feeling clean, drink some alcohol.
No. Don't do that.
I don't know. I think that's a good idea.
If you're feeling nauseous, take a little whiff of it.
Oh, maybe that's what it's
Oh, that was a horrible
Yes.
rhyme, Sarah. He
If
just
you're
finished
feeling
his with a
little
rime.
nauseous,
Yeah, I thought you were going to
Take a
rhyme like
whiff.
he did.
Oh.
You just, if you're feeling nauseous, take a little swift with your nose. What?
What? What are you talking
Take a little sniff of it.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
Supposed to help you feel less queasy.
should we talk about space?
Yes, space.
This is Sarah's favorite subject, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about with space? How about you guys interview me
SpaceX. When are we going to the moon?
next year?
How
We
many?
have a contract with NASA right now, and we are going to be the ones that are going to be hauling the cargo and stuff up in the Starship
Oh, to be able to build the moon base.
to build the moon base, which is going to be a step to Mars.
Is the moon base going to be underground? Like most of
I
it.
have no idea. I haven't seen anything with that.
Are they going to have gravity in there inside the moon base? Because I think it'd be cool if people floated around.
Well, The moon is what, 1/10 the gravity
I
of...
thought it was 1/6.
It's 1/10 of something.
Yeah.
How would you generate gravity, whether you're underground or not?
Spin the moon faster.
So back to Sarah. What? Well, you have somebody on a treadmill? Run, Richard!
No,
Faster!
like instead of like building a Death Star that blows up planets, build one that just spins planets faster.
What does it do? Is it like a missile that comes down and just latches
No, it
onto the
just-
surface
it's-
and just goes?
Yeah, just no, it just hits one side and keeps pushing. like a
Like a robo vacuum where it hits the wall and it's like...
It keeps going.
but it spins it like you would with your hand.
Oh my gosh. It's like you're spinning a basketball on your finger. The missile or the device is just like hitting it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Everybody
gosh. What did you take before this podcast? Wow. And this is why you're not in the Air Force anymore. You were forced into retirement.
I think it's a really good idea.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. But okay, so after we spin the moon and we get gravity, what is the gravity of Mars compared to the Earth?
I think a third.
So it doesn't need any.
No, you'll just be lighter, but
Yeah, you
you're
just
not going to
jump higher and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said if you were born on Mars or something like that, you're going to be taller. Everything's going to be taller because there's not as much downforce on your body, so everything will be.
Oh
tall.
man, I want to be
Elongated.
born and grow up on Mars and move back here.
You wouldn't really probably survive that long in this much gravity.
Oh, at least
like there's no way because you don't have your muscle tone. You don't have any of that stuff built up to be able to withstand our gravity. If you're on Mars, you'd be able to live, but it would be miserable.
could you take like 2 years to build yourself up? Like go from 1/3 to 1/2?
I don't know if you remember at EOS Fitness, probably 2 weeks.
Or you could fall asleep in the chair.
Yeah, because they
And
don't have
snore.
that lunk alarm where you're allowed to grunt in EOS Fitness. You can go,
You're allowed to snore too in EOS
oh,
Fitness.
geez, because Mr. I fell asleep in the chair and snored today. That's what Jason
A massage chair?
did. Yeah, Jason's in
Oh
there
goodness.
in a massage chair.
It really relaxed you.
Yeah, everybody was looking at me because I woke up with a.
I was looking all over
What
the gym
is
for
this
you. too.
guy? Homeless?
Is he homeless?
Yeah.
How did he get in here? Where did he get his barcode?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
SpaceX
anyway.
is going to, in the month of April and then Q2, we don't have the dates yet.
Does anybody wonder why I'm not the head host?
Why is not the head host?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious right
Yeah,
now.
that's pretty obvious.
We should do that one episode and just see how long it lasts. And then we run an analysis of how quick did listeners drop.
Or just the person that's our guest. What are we talking about now?
Get up and leave.
Yeah.
Well, there goes that guest. Huh. How about that?
No, but seriously, back to SpaceX and launching and catching and going to Mars.
What about it? Ask me a question.
Talk about catching, flying out to Mars and flying
Well, they're
back.
going to be flying. He's going to be going, he being Elon's direction is they're going to be sending a whole starship full of robots, the Optimus robots. Look them up if you guys don't know what those are. They're made by Tesla. And he's going to be flying all of those to Mars 2026. And they're going to be able to help set up everything. And then this month, the month of April, well, it's not this month. In the month of April, we're going to be sending another starship up to test again. The last two didn't quite go as planned, but we have made a lot of progress, right? But he is going to be sending a tanker up full of fuel, and then he's going to send a trailing starship behind it and then they're going to mate up, and then they're going to transfer that propellant from one starship to the other as part of the test. Once they pass that, they're going to know, okay, we can get to Mars. Because the big thing is getting to space. If you were to have the starship with everything full, plus, with all the cargo it's taking, plus all the fuel it needs to get there, it's not going to be able to get there because it's going to expend all of its fuel just to get into orbit and everything else, just to break the Earth's atmosphere and the gravitational pull. So what they have to do is send another starship up before it. Then they have to fuel again in space, in orbit, which has never been done before. Once they do that, they break free from the tanker in flight, and then that ship is going to go off to Mars. And they're going to be sending people to Mars. They're saying 2027, I think 2030, I think is the latest that they want to go, 2030.
So the window's
Wow.
like 27 to 30. And how long to get to Mars?
I think, what is it, 6 months?
Oh, not bad. Okay.
7 months. But the big thing is we've never had humans in space that long on flights. So there's a lot of health risk. Like you look at people that are in the space station,
Yeah.
they're covered a little bit by the Earth's magnetic field. So there's a lot of radiation that they don't get.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back in the 60s and 70s when the astronauts were going to the moon, they had a lot of issues with radiation, particularly with their kidneys, right?
Mm.
There's kidneys and other organs, right, that get impacted by radiation. That didn't happen to anybody in the space station. So now one of the things we have to figure out is, okay, that long of a trip, how do we shield from radiation? One of the things is you put water in the shell of the spaceship. That hasn't been discussed. That's just me talking right now. But water is a good insulator from radiation.
Does Mars have a pretty similar? I don't think it's as what's it called? The shield.
Atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, no, the shield.
Magnetic field?
Yeah, the magnetic field that blocks a lot of that radiation.
There isn't one.
There isn't one at all. Wow.
No, that's why Elon has said before that when they get there, possibly detonating some atomic bombs on the polars to help kind of kickstart, because you can't terraform without an magnetic field to block the radiation. Right now, it's just pelted with it. So there's a slight atmosphere, but it's that whole magnetic field that's missing.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. And really, our magnetic field can go at any time, too. All it takes is a massive solar flare, and we're done. We're cooked.
Yeah, we're done in here with that coast. Yeah.
We're so vulnerable to space. People don't realize it. It just takes one solar flare, poof, and it will just totally be gone.
Yeah, that's something we want to think about all
Crazy.
night.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will be now.
Yeah. All right. What other questions do you have for me now that I've bored everybody to death with?
No, this is awesome. Because this whole thing,
Intriguing.
this whole thing is like I'm not doing a good job of it so far, but I do want to follow it just because it's the next step beyond the moon, and everybody was like in awe when they got to the moon. Like, this is an unbelievable step beyond that.
Followed. It's not followed very much. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that Elon Musk has had, I should say SpaceX, because of all the employees and everybody that have built this stuff, they've had over 500 landings of boosters, right, on drone ships in the middle of the ocean, and they hit the target every time. And then recently with Starship, you take a 400-foot mammoth skyscraper, shoot it up into the sky, and then the bottom half, which is massive, the biggest rocket power ever, and it doesn't have any legs or anything, and it just comes down, and then what do you call it?
It's like the arms that catch it.
Yeah, the
What are they
chopsticks.
called?
Chopsticks, yeah.
Comes down and it just plucks it out of the air. That's never been done before.
No, that's
and
super
the
cool.
big booster just kind of hovers.
Yeah.
Comes in and it just sits there, hovers itself, moves itself into the right place.
It's super cool to watch.
Schools aren't talking about it. Schools don't show it. They don't talk about the physics behind it. They don't talk about any of that stuff.
They
So all this
need to
stuff
be.
is
So dumb.
It's watched by people like us, but kids, they don't even know what SpaceX is doing, what it's breaking. You know, you have the Artemis program, which is the SLS rocket that NASA has paid billions and billions and billions of dollars for, and that is capped with the Boeing Starliner, which the Starliner is in a lot of trouble right now with some technical difficulties, right? Because they had issues that stranded astronauts in space on the space
For
station
9 months.
SpaceX came in and saved them just over the last couple of weeks, brought them back down. So Starliner's kind of got some issues that they got to figure out for the Artemis, and that's the thing on top of the SLS rocket. But the big thing is the expense. The SLS rocket, the Artemis rocket, is one-time use. The SLS is, and that's $3 billion. Boom, done. Next one, $3 billion.
Yeah,
Next
so
one,
it blows
$3
up.
billion.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So then you have SpaceX coming in. Everything is reusable. 100% of everything. Even the Starship itself. When it goes to the moon, it is going to be a different design for the moon. It's not going to have the big boosters on the bottom. The boosters actually to land are going to be up towards the top, so that when it's coming in to land on the lunar surface, it doesn't blow all that lunar dust everywhere. The rocket engines are going to be way up top, and it's just going to guide it down, and it won't have any dust go anywhere. So that one won't be able to come back to Earth into gravity. It's not going to have all of the atmosphere, the shielding and stuff, the heat shields. But the other ones that come in, they're going to be fully reusable. So it's pretty amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's quite intriguing.
Sounds like we need another rap song about SpaceX, because I put everybody to sleep.
Well, it was cool to have our first musical guest. Gotta admit that. That was
I can't believe they
super cool.
made it.
I can't believe they played live here.
Yeah. They made it all the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to have them back again.
Yeah.
I don't know, when are they going to be in town again, Jason?
December 27th.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after Christmas.
And then they're coming back also January 43rd.
How about that? What's
Yeah.
their lead singer's name? The lead rapper?
It's Messy J.
Messy Day? Messy Day. They were good.
Yeah. They all chose, it's Messy C, Messy J, and Messy S.
Messy, yes.
What about Messy Day? You just said it was Messy Day.
No, it's meant to be about the echo. That's why each one has the name Messi.
Oh, like the soccer player.
Yeah. No. Like I said, yeah.
Like a
first.
messy room?
Yeah, like a messy room.
Okay.
Because like an echo.
Yeah. Echo. All right. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Good old podcast.
Yeah, we're back in full force. We're going to win so many awards.
Yeah. We're going to make ourselves an award.
Are you sure it's full? Maybe it's only half. Half force.
What, our award?
Half Proo.
No.
We're a half Proo.
You're not back in full force. You're maybe like half.
Half a Proo.
Half a Proo. Okay. Well, thanks for
circle.
joining.
A Pratt.
Why don't let's wind this down now. Thanks for joining. Messy Day, Messy D, Messy S. Whatever. Thanks for coming as our musical guest. See everybody next time. Everybody, peace out.
Out.
Thanks for prattling with us on the Prattle Proos. This podcast is a production of Clayton Bowen and Jason Smith. Copyright 2024, present Prattle Proos. All rights reserved. Any reproduction or distribution of this show without express permission is prohibited. Unless, of course, you're sharing it with your grandma, then we'll allow it. Got something to prattle about? Hit us up via email at prattleproos@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow and review wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, keep it weird, keep it prosy, and remember, you're never too old for a good laugh.
The question for you, Mr. Pants in the pool, it is something only Sarah can bring me to her side. Remembrance, that question to Sarah is reminiscent of that time I didn't make it to the bathroom and shot all over myself. The insight you gained from her reminiscing was that